Hi everyone.
Welcome to Library and Information Science Circle. Today we are going to discuss about information and information need. At first we know. What is information? In simpler terms, the processed data is information. Data process information. Information already words supposed to be derives from two Latin words form and information, which mean is to give a shape to something and forming a pattern. It is generally seen that information data and the knowledge are used synonymously, but they are different. Data. Data are the raw material for information, but they can be expressed numerically and are qualified, quantifiable, tabular or objective. Data are also repetitive in nature. Information is the raw material for knowledge, but like that, information is not highly repetitive or can be qualified or quantifiable. It may be also characterized as narrative, subjective, qualitative, textual or descriptive. Knowledge. When information is adequately assimilated, it becomes knowledge. According to Scheer, information is that which is transmitted by the act or process of communication. It may be message, a signal, a stimulus. It assumes a response in the receiving organism and therefore possess response potential. Its motivation is inherently utilitarian. It is instrumental and it usually is communicated in an organized or formalized pattern, mainly because such formalization increases potential utility. Now coming to information need, first try to understand difference: needs, wants, demands and requirement. Needs. This is the want of something, which one cannot well do without. Wants. A state of fact of being without or having an insufficient quantity, absence or deficiency of necessities. Demand. It is required, asking for what is due or asking for something. Requirement. It is a need, a thing needed or a necessary condition. What is information need? The concept of information need is difficult to define, isolated and measure because it involves a cognitive process which may operate on different levels of consciousness and hence may not be clear even to the inquirers himself. Giriya Kumar, 1990, has defined information need in detail as input process output model, where the basic components of the system are problem solving, process, solution. The problem is analyzed to determine information needs. It is indicative of the uncertainty in knowledge. Solution results in resolving of the situation by filling the gap in the knowledge. Asterisk. Level and categories of information. Taylor, 1962, has listed 4 levels of information need. The conscious and unconscious need for information not existing in the remembered experience of the investigator. In terms of the query range, this level might be called the ideal question, the question which would bring form the ideal system, exactly what the inquirer, if he could, states his need. It is the actual and unexpressed need for information. The conscious mental description of ill-defined area in decision. In this level, the inquirer might talk to someone else in the field to get the answer. A reacher forms a rational statement of his question. This statement is a rational and unambiguous description of the inquirer's doubts. The question is presented to the information system. Taylor, 1991, again has identified the following 8 classes of information use need as under: enlightenment, problem understanding, instrumental, factual, confirmational, projective, motivational and personal or political. Asterisk. Types of information needs. Menzel, 1996, has divided the information need into following 3 types. Preference to demand studies, which include opinions, evaluation request for the information and experiments on the impact of a service. Use studies, which include relative contributors of communication channels and critical incident studies. User interaction with dissemination in the system, as in studies of the flow of information at a scientific meeting. Wildtag A. al. 1976 has presented following types of the information needs. Social programmatic information need required for coping with day-to-day life. Recreation information needs. Professional information needs. Educational information needs. Dependency of information needs. Information need of the users depend upon work activity and the ability of facilities and discipline. Voigt 1961 has recognized three types of user information need dependency or approaches as under. Current approach, where a user deeps himself side by side with the latest development in his own field of information. Everyday approach, it is to meet user frequently information need during his research investigation. Exhaustive approach, where a user want almost on the relevant literature on a problem. While according to Crawford 1978, information need depends on work activity, discipline, field, area of interest, availability of facilities, hierarchical position of individual, motivation factors for information needs, need to take a decision, need to seek ideas, need to validate the correct ones, need to make professional contributors, need to priority for discovery, etc. Factors affecting information need. The range of information services available. The user to which information need be put to use. The background, motivation, professional orientation, and other individual characteristics of the user. The social, political, and economic system surrounding the user, and the consequences of information use. Information needs of different user groups. Information needs of social scientist. A social scientist is a person who is generally involved in teaching and research activities in any of the economics, sociology, political science, history, and social work subject. But ICSSR has clubbed about 18 categories of fields under the purview of social sciences, economics, social science, social work, history, law, and linguistics. Information need of pure applied scientist. Generally, the following branches are covered in pure science. Physical sciences, which deal with matter and energy and allows us to describe the material universe in terms of weight, mass, volume, and other standard, objective measures. Earth science, which deals with the phenomenon of Earth, its atmosphere, and the solar system to which it belongs. Life sciences, which describe living organism, their relationships to its environment. Besides, there are applied sciences which include engineering and technology. Besides, there is general public that also need information. However, majority of the general public may not be able to conceptual their information needs, but they are to inferred and must be satisfied. Further, children also have information needs which vary from that of young and older people. They are also to be satisfied. Recently, it is observed that information needs and information-seeking behaviors is changing with the ICT involvement. This must be consulted for assessing information needs and to satisfy the needs of different types of user. Objectives of studying information need. The explanation of observed phenomenon of information use or expressed needs. The predication of instances of information use. The control and the nearby improvement of the utilization of information through manipulation of essential conditions. The description of observed information use. Assessing or determining the information need. Assessment is any systematic approach to collecting and analyzing information about the educational needs of individuals or organization. There are various methods used to access information need, but generally. Asterisk. Interview method. Interview simply means the conversation with a purpose. Interview self-administrate face-to-face, or telephonic interview, or maybe through video conferencing. Besides, nowadays interviews can be held through video conferencing. This provides weak and instant accessing of information needs. Questionnaire method. A questionnaire is the list of questions sent to a number of persons for their answers and which obtain standardized results that can be analyzed statistically. Observation method. Observation is a systematic process of recording behavioral patterns of peoples, objects, and occurrences as they happens. Saying and listening are two most important keys of observation. Role on library and information need. The information need of users have to be satisfied by the library and information center through their services. The information need relate to which information is needed, that is the theme or subject. It presupposes that any and all information about the requested subjected will somehow satisfy the information need. The other approaches is rather different. It might be called a situational approach, where users want information on a certain subject. What can be done to satisfy this need? What does he want to know, at which level of details and abstraction, etc.? This specifies the intrinsic characteristics of information, whatever the subject may be. Every information need has two types of components. Asterisk. Libraries are the best center for satisfying the information need of different classes of users. Therefore, Zhang 1998 rightly stresses over the through understanding of user information need and information-seeking behaviors that is fundamental to the provision of successful information services, so that the information needs of different types of the users could be satisfied well. Conclusion. Information that arises as a curiosity is considered as a basic need which can be found primary, secondary and tertiary sources, while information needs are the requirements for the data or knowledge of any kind that is desirable or necessary to conduct the teaching or research. Information need arises due to psychological motives, uncleared motives or the social motives, but where information needs ends, information-seeking behavior starts to satisfy these needs.